Bella meets Laurent in the meadow. It was a 2-day scene, and in between the 2 days it snowed. So we arrived in the morning at 6 o'clock, and it was snowing about 4 inches of snow. So we had to scramble to shift our schedule around and do all kinds of stuff.
How do you deal with, I'm a lighting designer, so I'm a geek. How do you deal with lighting continuity when you're dealing with such drastic weather situations?
Well, of course, what we hope for in all cases is gray weather. We're you know, like we're in this weird position of wanting bad weather, or we want light rain or gray at all times. We don't always get it, so when we don't, we see any of them. We have gigantic scrims that can hang from big condors to block off as much as we can. But then, you know, it's a continual torture to have Yair, our DP, because you can sort of shade off an area in which actors are acting, but then in the background you can see the kind of brightness on the trees.
You can see the shafts of light coming
through.
And of course there's vampire weather as well, which is like sometimes we can get away with a sunny day in Forks, but never on a day when Edward's around, which we don't want to give away the diamond stuff. So it really, you know, I'll be so happy when we get to the stage within about a week, because we'll stop worrying about the weather.
So you're moving to an interior set?
We'll be moving to the interiors in a week from today. Yeah, so there's only one more week in which we have to freak out about the weather. And we've been knocked around a bit. There's like a Twilight weather curse, slightly.
Absolutely.
Like you end up not getting the weather that you want on a given day. There'll be, you know, sun on the day when you want rain, and then the one day when you're wanting sun.
This is all going to be. Is this all staying up though? Production?
All this stuff. Well, you know, it's been funny. I've been sort of knocking it around in my head what the best thing to do would be. I would imagine what they're going to do is disassemble it, because I mean, you know, like it looks great, but it's not really up to code. I'm not sure it would withstand like a BC winter and everything. I think probably what they'll do is take it all apart, put it into storage, and then
build it back up.
Build it back up again, while still, I imagine, maintaining a rent on this land would be my best guess. But
so we can see that people can actually go in the house.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is you can, from certain angles, it's perfectly dressed. But if you were to look at other angles, you'll see that it's just a kind of an empty core.
Empty shell.
So that like when Jacob jumps in the window, which he's going to eventually, we have enough to be able to be inside the window and kind of have Bella step back as he comes in, but you wouldn't see the other way around into the window. That's going to be.
And then you flip to the interior.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But you know, hopefully when it all comes to the movie and editing, it'll all be seamless in the way that it cuts together. You'll never notice that kind of stuff. So that you know, we'll be able to carry someone from outside.
So it's a smooth cut.
Yeah. Is the idea.
Was it intimidating coming into a fandom with such intense fans?
Yeah.
To put it mildly.
Well, I mean, on the one hand it is, but on the other hand, I really feel like everyone wants the movie to be good, and everyone has been very encouraging and supportive. Like, there haven't been... things have felt very positive towards me. Of course, I've kind of avoided the internet, so I don't read. I don't want to get too, because I don't want to get too kind of caught. I mean, I see it as like, you know, my responsibility is to the readership, and my responsibility is not to the internet. No matter what you guys are doing, you guys are serving the readers as well. I'm like addressing the same people that you are. But I don't want to sort of get caught up in you know, any sort of controversy that's going on online or whatever people had to say about me when I was selected. Because I did that on Golden Compass once, and there was like a vote as to who they'd rather have as director, and other beat me. I didn't want to be in that situation. So.
No, I think it was great when the press release went out about how committed you were to the film, that all of that really died down right around then.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that you know, it's great. It's great to have this kind of inbuilt audience of fans, and I feel that they're extraordinarily supportive. They really want things to be good, and the cast wants things to be good in kind of the same way. There's real commitment to getting the books right, and that's how I feel.
which is so greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good, because I think that like the it's great that there's a first movie that was so successful, but to me the book is the Bible for it, and so when I read the book, I read it at a gallop, so that I had the same kind of probably similar experience to what when people are first reading it did. I didn't kind of chop it into pieces immediately. I wanted to kind of just read it at one go, and then I kind of went back in, and you always have to kind of select what your moments are going to be, and it's a 600-page book, so you have to
what has to go, what gets to stay, right?
And eventually you're going to disappoint people, but if you do it from the attitude of like that my loyalty has to be to the readership and to the way they experience it, and more so even than to the fans of the first movie. Although there has to be some consistency between the first movie and the second movie. It's really about the readers.
What did you do to make the tone darker? Because the book is so much darker than Twilight.
Right.
Have you done anything specific to make it darker as a film?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just not to be afraid of those sort of tonalities in the acting and in the tone of the piece. Not because obviously with a big studio film and with a lot of money at stake or something, one could be afraid that if you don't have people smiling and laughing all the time, that you're going to be in big trouble. But I think that part of the appeal of this is that it really sort of digs into the melancholy that people experience when they're broken up with, when they lose somebody, when they yearn for somebody. And just not to be afraid of that, really, and just in terms of the kind of the palette of how the world is represented, that the blacks are very, just to get technical, I mean the blacks are what you would call very like crunchy, there'll be very deep shadows, very deep blacks, and that kind of, I mean, literally and metaphorically, it kind of makes the colors stand out more. Right. So there will be a period during the movie where things are quite dark and somber, but then there'll be this kind of explosion of color when you get to Italy, and there's like an ecstatic ending. Yeah. And there's the kind of happiness before
and the reunion.
Loses it all.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And it's to sort of try in every way, even in terms of design of different sets and stuff. To make sure that each bit of design, each detail is kind of a metaphor for where the character is in the book. And I think you follow Bella's journey. It's also sort of not taking the focus off of Bella's point of view. I mean, I think that the book narrated through Bella. We have to have this very fine balance between having too much and too little Edward. If you have too much Edward, then
there'll be a rage.
What's the point of the whole thing? Because you want to have the audience experience that longing as well.
But you got to put him in there too.
Too little Edward, I'll be hunted down and killed. So it's like just a fine balance that has to be hit, basically.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Have you talked to Stephanie Meyer? Has she given you any tips about?
Oh yeah.
This film?
I mean, we speak all the time. We email back and forth all the time. She visits the set. I went down to Arizona to hang out with her. I mean, I'm running stuff past her constantly, so that the mythology of the series isn't violated. I don't want to kind of pull any fast ones or make any mistakes in terms of just things that I present which don't make sense in her universe. And you'd have to ask her, so I don't want to make any claims for myself, but so you'd have to ask her, the degree to which she's satisfied. At least she said to me that she feels the film is very beautiful, and that's not a credit to me. That's more Javier Aguirre-Sarobe, our DP, who's a genius and does absolutely beautiful work. And the idea is just to try to make as elegant and beautiful a rendering of the book as possible.